In the previous chapter, we were looking at systems of two equations with two variables. So we had an x and a y, and graphically that was finding the intersection point of two lines. So here we're actually taking it another step further, and we have an x, y, and z, and we're going to have three equations. Graphically, what that is going to be is the intersection of three different planes. So if you have like three different sheets of paper, and if you can cross them, then it's the intersection point of those three sheets of paper. So there's many different techniques for solving three equations, three variables. We're just going to be looking at the matrix method. So we're going to be using matrices. Now a matrix is just the mathematical term for a table of numbers. So it's like a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. This is a 3x4 matrix, meaning it has 3 rows and 4 columns. So that's the dimensions of this matrix. So our question says solve the system of equations by using matrices. Show your matrix and express the final answer as an ordered triple. So I need to create a matrix, and I'm really just taking the numbers or the coefficients of these variables. So if I look at my first equation, I have an x, so the number in front of the x would be a 1. I don't have any y, so I'm going to put a 0 there. And then I have an implied 1 in front of that z. And then I don't put the equal sign, but I put the 3. For the second equation, this is going to be a 1, a 2 that's in front of the y, a negative 1 that's in front of the z, and a 1. And then I look at the third equation, and that's going to be a 2, a negative 1, a 1, and then a 3. So it's almost like I have an x column, a y column, a z column, and then a totals column. But again, I don't want to put x, y, or z within the table itself. I just want the numbers. Okay, so I want to use the calculator to solve this. And there's 3 main steps, so you can always refer to this when you're doing these questions. The first step is going to be second matrix, edit, and then A. So if you press second matrix, and then go all the way over to edit, and then you may have numbers here, you may not. It just depends on if anybody used your calculator before. But you want to select matrix A, and then press enter. And it should take you to the screen, but you probably won't have any numbers in here. You want to make sure that you type 3x4 here. So you want it to be a 3x4 matrix, because again we want 3 rows and 4 columns. Now my calculator can't show 4 columns on one screen. I have to like scroll over to see the 4th column. But some of your calculators may show all 4 columns on one screen. So I guess I'm jealous if you do have one of those calculators. So make sure that you enter in all your numbers on the table, on the matrix here. And again, if you have a calculator like mine, or my version of the calculator, then you do have to scroll over to see that you have that 4th column in there once you type it in. So then once you type in all that information, then you should do second quit, and it should take you back to the home screen. So the second part, I want to do second matrix, math, and then RREF. So if you go second matrix, and then to math, and all the way down to B, which is RREF. So this stands for reduced row echelon form. You don't need to say that, but if you want to, you can. Make sure you select RREF and not just REF. You have to have 2 R's there. So I want to select that and press enter, and it should show up on the home screen. Okay, so that was step 2. And then step 3 is I want to go back into the matrix menu for the 3rd time and select names and matrix A. So if you go back into the matrix menu for the third time, and just stay under names and select matrix A, because matrix A is where we entered in all of our information. If you had entered your information in matrix E, you would be selecting matrix E. So then I press enter, and it should show on my home screen the RREF of A. So then if I press enter again, it shows me my new matrix, and this is actually my answer. And I read my answer from the final column. So this actually just means that x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1, and z is equal to 2. Now the reason why it means that is because if you look at this diagonal of 1s, it's like, again, this was our x column, our y, and our z. If you read these across, this is like a 1x. I don't have any y, I don't have any z, but I have a 1, so x is equal to 1. The second row, I don't have any x. I do have a y, I don't have any z, so this would be y is equal to 1. And then the third row, I don't have any x or y, but I do have that z, so that would be a z is equal to 2. So it's kind of like you're retranslating it back into a system of equations with only an x, y, and z. But you don't need to know that. You just need to know that the final column has your answer. And you do want to express that as an ordered triple. So let me go back to the question. And again, our final answer is going to be 1, 1, 2. So that represents the x value, the y value, and the z value that work in all three of these equations.